People don't want you to reach that place of happiness where you're able to breathe fresh air without challenge. They don't want you to be above the bullshit. It's not that it's above me now. You are above the bullshit. Hey, my balancing beings, it's your soul Oracle Robin, and I'm back to you with another divinely channeled message. I want to thank you so much for coming to visit with us if it's your first time, and also for all of my balancing beings that are also known as my Butterfinger BBs. Welcome back. I love to see you here always. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to tell you all that I hope that you're having a magnificent Monday. It has been a week for the books in my household, and I've got a little bit of information to drop for you later, so be looking out for that video. I also wanted to tell you that today has been really, really full with channeling. And maybe somebody doesn't want to get this message out, but it's been full of channeling. So I plan on probably doing compounded messages broken up into 2 or 3 messages this week. So I haven't decided how I'm going to do that, but just be looking out for that. I'm really, really excited to share with you all, as I am always. So before we get started, hello, hello, hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, hello. So, for those of you visiting, I ask that you go ahead and like and subscribe to this page so you can join the soul family at Wu Wei Soul Guidance. For those of you who are returning and are already subscribed, please go ahead and hit those like buttons and also comment and participate in the conversation below in the comments. I'm so, so glad to have you here. So, how about y'all? On Saturday, I ended up having this really, really weird dream that ended up making me really anxious when I woke up, but I also felt strengthened because of the power and the purpose behind this. And over a few days now, I've been seeing things like, the roots of plants, the root chakra and what that looks like, and, how it is that we're supposed to be able to reactivate our root chakra. But not only that, sustain its power, and to remain in balance. So that may be through a myriad of things. People know, how you can ground yourself by the way that you eat, by the way that you think, by the activity that you put out into the atmosphere. We can actually talk about that later. But this particular dream, I think, is relative to, whew, I'm actually thinking that it could be about grounding yourself because of your foundation and being able to stand tall, and you'll understand what I mean by that in just a few moments. But also, I've been channeling really, really heavily Pisces energy, as well as water sign energy, air energy, and also specifically Aries energy. This message could be for anyone. It's a timeless message, and I ask that the Most High protect you at all times, keep his angels encamped around you, as well as me, and protecting me while I channel this message and give it to you. But this message may be significant for those who are in the age group of their 50s. So keep that in mind. This dream was so, so wild because I woke up anxious, but I knew that that negative energy could not overtake me, and it cannot overtake you as long as you remain in the flow, balancing beings. The dream was of me riding in the car with some passengers that I cannot remember their faces, but We were driving into the Oklahoma City area. And if you know Oklahoma City, you know Oklahoma City to be developed, but not developed in this capacity that it was depicted in the dream. The illustration of the city in the dream, excuse me, was that of a mega city. And Oklahoma City is a large city, but it is definitely not a mega city. This may be significant for someone. We ended up getting to an interchange, and if you know what an interchange is, um, it's usually, like either a fork that splits off into two or more than two directions to go. So I ended up seeing on the sign in the dream the letter J-93, and that was supposedly the interstate that we were on. It could have been I-93, but I believe that I read J-93. There was no particular direction that I was going, north, west, east, south. I have no clue. But what was interesting is that I just so happened to be the driver, and I turned around to my passengers and asked if they knew if the GPS had asked us to go in this particular direction, because before we were about to enter the interchange to go in this particular direction down J-93, I started to become fearful of the incline. If you know anything about huge cities, those inclines and interstates can go into a very, very high altitude, as well as only one lane. So if there are any emergencies or need for emergency vehicles, you're pretty much up shit's creek. I'm just sorry. I still don't know how they do this, in saving people. But anyway, once I asked them if this was the direction the GPS had asked us to go, they started to maniacally laugh, saying, "Yes, Robin." Now, this incline was as high as a roller coaster would go, and it almost reminded me of that famous interstate that has been running timelessly on social media in Southeast Asia. I can't remember if it's Japan or Thailand. It could actually be China. But once I learned that the GPS asked us to go into this direction, I instantly started to bear down that I'm going to have to trek this incline in a regular car and to drive it for miles in one lane. And of course, there is no way off of it because we can't reverse. The anxiety that I felt in this dream was insane. Eventually, after being taunted on the drive, which became windy along the way, we ended up at what I think was an Airbnb or a vacation rental. And then the dream skipped straight into us going to dinner. We ended up sitting in a fancy room with ceiling to floor windows, marble floors, gold fixtures, gold crowning, as well as Venetian style decor and furniture. Because I am a vegetarian, I ordered fettuccine alfredo with no meat. Once I received my food, I started to eat, and once I get to swirling through my pasta, trying to, get all of the sauce on the noodles the way that I want to, I started to notice that there were these shredded and almost splintery pieces of chicken, which originally I thought may have been fresh Parmesan. And I was sort of upset at that point that I had started eating it because, of course, that's not what I ordered. And who in the hell wants some fettuccine alfredo without chunks of chicken if you're going to eat chicken? Nobody wants shredded chicken in fettuccine alfredo, but I guess that's a preference thing. But I know that it's a standard in restaurants as well. But anyways, as I went deeper into the entree, I realized that there was a bird carcass folded into my pasta a bit deeper than what my fork had gone. And that was why the bits of chicken were there. I started to upchuck, like regurgitate this food. As my eyes got bigger, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I was actually mortified. The bird had a head, bones, some feathers, and visibly had been cooked with generally no meat on it, just scraps. You could see the grain decay and the entire head with decaying beak and decaying eyes. The plate smell became more putrid, and as I looked up to the members of the table that were once with me, they had all vanished. And then when I looked to my right, there was somebody who was seemingly a voodoo witch doctor looking at me, laughing maniacally, just as the passengers in the car had when I asked them about which direction we were going. Her eyes were rather beady, and she had a strange orange brown hue color for her eyes. I got up from that table and I ran into the bathroom, threw up what I could, and started aggressively brushing my teeth. Now, y'all, I know typically when I give you all channel messages, I'm not reading from a page, so I appreciate your patience with me there. But I have been writing like crazy in this book about this channel message. And as I related at the beginning, I have so much more to give you all unrelated to this particular channel message. But all that being said, what I have been channeling are two songs that are very, very popular. Well, maybe one is not very popular because it wasn't one of her singles, but um, the other one is definitely mainstream popular. The first song is 20 Feet Tall by Erykah Badu, which was on an album where she did the window seat, where she did the naked video shoot in Dallas. The second song is I'ma Be by Black Eyed Peas, where Fergie said, I'ma be taking them pics, looking all fly and shit. I'ma be the flyest chick, so fly. I'ma be swinging my wings. I'ma be doing my thing, do it, okay. I'ma swing it this way. I'ma swing it this way. Y'all remember that part, right? But on 20 Feet Tall, I don't know if you all remember, but 20 Feet Tall um, is something that really makes you think. It's a metaphorical song. And I've always loved Erykah Badu for that reason. You know, she puts different visions in front of you through her lyrics in her music. Her music is something that jumps off the page as if you're reading a children's book or, um, some sort of fantasy book. Erykah Badu makes you think and really use your intuition. So this song is rather old at this point, but it starts, My love, what did I do to make you fall so far from me? And now I can recall the cause of the fall, selective memory. Then you built a wall, a 20-foot wall, so I couldn't see. But if I get off my knees, I might recall I'm 20 foot tall. I'm 20 foot tall. And she actually said, y'all, I'm 20 feet tall. But anywho, I'm picking up on you all often being rage baited when you're visibly doing well for yourself, even when you're practical and grounded and consistently reaching your goals without harms to others. You're not boastful people. You're not competitive with others, balancing being. You are committed to honing in and being consistently progressive without having to broadcast your next steps, and that angers people. You've only got something to prove to yourself. Now, if you look at the lyrics and actually feel the lyrics of 20 Feet Tall, she said, I can't recall the cause of the fall, selective memory. She's relating to this person that she loved that person through and through and through, regardless of the pitfalls that were created in their relationship, possibly by the person that she was with, whether it be a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship. But Erykah Badu goes on to say that she decided to get off her knees and stop being this naive person that is serving the underdeserving. And I'm going to say that again. 20 Feet Tall is about altitude, guys. It's about the person who is of naivety, who has been serving the underdeserving for so long that when the bow breaks in situations and things come to the light, this person realized in this song they were so much taller, more worthy, more conscious, more aware, more large, more valuable, more elevated than one person or people tried to make them seem. So, balancing beings. People often do not want you to reach an altitude where you can breathe more fresh air. And when I say that, a lot of people start to think about planes and how your ears start to pop and maybe you start to have shortness of breath. The reason why you have that going on a plane is because of the suction that is coming through that particular airwave to source the plane or fuel the plane in a sense by being able to carry it through the airs. And I don't mean fuel as far as gas, but you do have to, at a certain altitude with that size of a vehicle, be able to support it using certain types of suction. And that's a whole thing that engineers have to, figure out. They measure that. I'm not an expert there. But my point is that sometimes people don't want you to reach the level of altitude where you can breathe fresh air. In March 2021, I ended up going to Winter Park outside of Denver, Colorado, where I did snowmobiling. And to be on the top of a mountain, trekking the top of a mountain, you would have thought that I would have lost my breath. Actually, that was the freshest air that I had ever breathed in my life. And I did not want to leave it, although we had spent 2 hours trekking up the mountain. People don't want you to reach that place of happiness where you're able to breathe fresh air without challenge. They don't want you to be above the bullshit. It's not that it's above me now. You are above the bullshit. Additionally, this group of balancing beings has been represented in this dream as someone who is not only capable of clearing hurdles, but you are able to propel to new heights with heavy projections being thrown at you with self-control, grace, and at times effectively showing vulnerability. People will try to tire you out using your good energy as their fuel while you continue to be drained, hoping that when you reach an interchange, like the dream had in it on J93, the interchange, the fork in the road, the moment when you need to make an important decision, they hope that you'll make the wrong one. I don't remember if I said this earlier, but I'm getting heavy water sign energy as well as air sign energy from this. Angel number 333 is significant. Aries energy is significant. This message may be for someone in their 50s. This is a timeless general divinely channeled message, so it could be for anyone. But I also have been seeing the Four of Pentacles in my third eye, as well as the Six of Pentacles. And if you were to put those together, that creates the Ten of Pentacles, which is generational wealth. Now, I know that we reflected on Fergie's verse when she said, I'm going to be taking them pics, looking all fly and shit. I'm going to be the flyest chick, so fly. In this dream, this person or these people were trying to rage bait you to prevent you from getting to the best place in your life, the highest timeline that you've ever been on. And they want you to keep from getting there, so you will become so incapable as time goes on to reach those goals that you will never ever experience it. But the channeled messages that I got from 20 feet tall, as well as I'm a bee, were very, very inspiring to me. I remember telling you guys that, initially I woke up with anxiety, but in duality, I woke up with strength, because as a balancing being, we always gonna stay in the flow. Regardless if it's good or bad, we're gonna stay balanced. We're going to be able to maintain our self-worth, our dignity, as well as our capability to keep going forward and upward, ascending. When we went up this incline in this dream, guys, this pathway became so windy. And by the time that we reached the bottom, I even asked these folks, show me the way that we can take the street. And they would not tell me, but that signifies for me that the divine is asking for you to take opportunities, even when it seems like it's totally impossible. Take the chance, bet on yourself. Nothing is impossible with God. Nothing. And it sometimes feels like you're delusional for wanting the things that you want, but that is what manifestation is about. It's about you having faith. It's about you knowing that you know that you know that things are going to work for you. And those bad things that happened, they did not happen to you. They happened for you, because you're on your way to your north node, your wish fulfillment, your divine prize of happiness and unspeakable joy. So, as always, balancing beings, I love you no matter what you do. And before we leave, I ask that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Please join the conversation or get it started below in the comments. Reach out to me if you have any questions via my email. And also, as always, it's important to me that you know you are free. 'Cause I never want to make you change for me, babe. Don't change, don't change. Squirrel for me, babe. Don't change, don't change. Squirrel for me, babe. Don't change, don't change. Squirrel for me, babe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.